And for those joining, I'll let you know that you will need a strap today, the yoga strap, and we will begin lying down. So let's make our way over to our mats and begin lying down. So for those of us doing the live class, it's morning, and maybe we've had a really involved morning. Maybe we've got a lot on our minds, or maybe we just woke up. But whatever's going on, we are going to take this time and really focus on what's happening now. So as we're here now, we feel our body on the floor. Take a moment to consciously feel every part of your body that's touching the floor. Feel that connection to the ground beneath you. The reliableness of the floor always being there, supporting you. Steadiness, the solidness. Connect with that feeling of steadiness and groundedness. And then let your body relax. And it's probably already relaxing. So notice that feeling of your body relaxing. Take a few moments to soften, relax the roof of your mouth. That very simple technique that can free up tension in many parts of the head, neck, and really the whole body. Softening, broadening the roof of the mouth. And then start to really pay attention to your breath, to your breathing. Our typical breath is very shallow. Let's begin to deepen our breath. As your breath flows in more fully, notice how it expands front, side, back of the body. And as the breath empties out, notice how that feels. There's a physical release as the breath empties. And if you let the breath empty all the way out, you might notice a sense of ease or relaxation or calm. So just immerse yourself in the act of deep breathing, expansive breath in, and a full emptying of breath out. Focusing your full attention now just on the act of breathing. If another thought comes into your mind, just let it go. And focus your full attention on your breathing. What are the effects of deep breathing? Physically, mentally, and emotionally. Notice the physical feeling of breathing and how it affects your state of mind. Take 2 more really full deep breaths in and out. And as you transition to a more natural breath rhythm, can you breathe in a more natural way and still focus your full attention on your breath? So So if another thought comes into your mind, just kindly, gently let that thought go and bring your focus back to your breathing. The nice thing about focusing on our breathing is it helps us to cultivate mindful awareness, and we tend to not be judgmental about our breathing, whether we're doing it right or doing it wrong. We're just breathing. So the challenge is, as we do our movement practice today, can we bring that same level of focused awareness to our movement and try to make the movement appropriate for how we're feeling physically and mentally, emotionally? And can we do that mindful awareness without judging it as though it's not good enough or it's not right or it's not wrong? But is it what you need, right, in any given moment? With mindful awareness, offering ourselves just what we need. That's going to be our challenge today. Moving in a way that's just right for us in this moment. So we'll begin. If your eyes are closed, you can open them up. Let's take our feet off the floor and hug our knees into chest. Notice how that feels as you start to round your back and then sway and rock to one side of your sacrum and sway over to the other side of your sacrum and just kind of free up your low back a little bit. And then bring your knees center and draw your knees apart into a straddle. And then press your knees back in. All right, let's keep our knees there. And we're going to clasp our hands under our head, letting the weight of the head rest into the hands. And we're going to open the knees apart again. We're going to take a breath in. As we exhale, I want you to bring your knees together and curl up head, neck, and shoulders. And then as we inhale, we'll let the knees drop open and let the head go back. So we're going to exhale, bring the knees in and curl up. And inhale, let the knees drop open as the head goes back. So just like that, curling up and inhaling back. Knees come in. And they don't have to touch. They're just coming in towards each other. And a few more like this. As we curl up, you could also curl your hips up a little bit and maybe bring your elbows slightly towards your knees and then open out. So we're curling up and curling the hips up and then opening out. Curling up, curling the hips up and opening out. A few more like that. We can exhale as we come up and towards each other, upper, lower body. Kind of waking up the inner thighs a little bit here. Let's do two more. Opening out, breathing in, and then exhaling as we curl up. Last one like this. And then you can let your feet come down. You can let your head come down and just place your arms down at your side. And then again, let's take our feet off the floor, knees over hips. We did this yesterday. I want you to imagine that you're on a bicycle and you're going to start to just bicycle your legs, like you're pedaling your bike with your knees straight up over your hips. Yeah, that's just kind of very familiar bicycling pattern. And then when we were kids, we had the kind of bike that you could pedal backwards. Can you do that? Can you pedal your bike backwards? Yeah. So we can continue to do this with our knees right over our hips. Let's do a forward pedal again. Pedaling like we normally do. And then your knees could stay where you are, or your knees could move a little bit away from you so that when the legs are further away, the low belly has to fire to support the low back. So we're pedaling with the knees a little further away perhaps. You can explore how far away you want to take your knees. And then can you pedal backwards wherever your knees are now? Can you change the direction of your pedaling? Kind of an interesting sort of coordination thing. For some of us, it might be easy. Some of us, it might be a little challenging. Great. All right, pedal forward again, like you normally do. And then bring your knees back. And let's give them a break actually. Put your feet on the floor. And with your arms down at your side, let's just do one gentle bridge. So feet hip distance apart. Just press down and take your hips up in the air. Just kind of release those hip flexors a little bit. Press up, take a breath, and then lower yourself back down. All right. Again, we're going to bring our knees over our hips, and we're just going to keep the legs there. Let's lift our heads up and clasp our hands beneath our head. We're going to take a breath in, and as we exhale, we're going to knit the ribs and curl up. And then I want you to bring one elbow across towards the opposite knee, and then inhale back and down. Curl up and take the other elbow towards the opposite knee, and then inhale and release down. Curl up and twist across, and then lower down. Curl up and twist across. A lot of times we do this and we move the legs too, but now we're just targeting the upper body, the obliques. So as you curl up and twist across, the elbow goes towards the knee. Could you think about the rib going across towards the thigh? So the right rib towards the left thigh, the left rib towards the right thigh. So you're really activating those oblique muscles. Kind of wrap the abdominals here. Let's do a few more like this. Coming up, twisting across, lowering down. Coming up, twisting across. One more on each side. And we will have woken up our abdominals, worked them pretty well. Great. All right, release your feet down. Let's do one more little bridge here. So feet hip distance, arms at your side, press down to lift the hips up. Think about knees and shins going forward as your hips go up into the air. Take a breath at the top, and then lower yourself down. Kind of roll down out of your bridge. And once you've made your way all the way down, go ahead and roll to your side. And we're going to come all the way around to all fours. As you find yourself on all fours, just take a moment here and move in any way that feels nice. You might move your shoulders, your neck, your head. You might lose an earring. And move your hips, whatever. And then when you're ready, curl your toes under and lift up to downward facing dog. Feel your hands pressing into the floor. Feel your hips drawing up and back. Let your head release and dangle. Shake it out a little bit. Release your neck. As your hips go up and back, the shoulder blades tend to move in towards each other. Create a little space across your upper back between your shoulder blades. Let's pedal some heels down, bending a knee and pressing a heel down, and then bending the other knee and pressing the other heel down. Just loosen up, move in a way that feels like right for your body as we're hanging out upside down for a little while here. And then let's bend both our knees a bit, draw the hips way up and back, take a deep breath in, and really empty it out. Go. Do that again, deep breath in, and a real big sigh. How does that feel? And then let's walk our hands back towards our feet, lowering our heels down, ending up, forward fold, ragdoll, arms and head loose. Really plant your feet here now. Take a breath into your upper back. Allow the breath to empty, and then draw your belly in and begin to roll yourself up. Just let your arms kind of dangle. Stack your vertebrae. Roll up. Feel yourself grounding down as your head comes up. Take a breath here. And then let's pick up our straps. We'll pick up our straps, we'll face our device, we'll stand with our feet. You can have your feet like right beneath you, or maybe let's have our feet slightly wider. So just a really solid stance. And then we're going to take that strap and we're going to pull on it. So there's tension in the strap. There's work to pull it apart. You're trying to kind of pull that strap apart. And then we'll bring our arms forward. So your hands are probably going to be a little wider than your shoulders here. You're pulling the strap apart, and then we're going to reach the arms up. And you could even widen your grip a little bit here. So when our arms go up, let's like pull the strap apart and reach toward the ceiling. A lot of times when our arms go up, what we do is we kind of arch the back. So let's knit the ribs in and down and relax the tailbone down. So the spine is neutral, even as the arms are overhead. So the movement is coming from the shoulders rather than from arching the back. So we're pulling on that strap. We'll bring the arms forward. We'll bring them down. We'll just relax the tension on the strap. Just maybe shake your shoulders out a little bit. And we'll do that again. We're going to pull the strap apart. As we're pulling, we'll bring the arms forward. As we're pulling, we'll take the arms up in the air and notice if those ribs start to push forward, knit them down and in. Relax your tail down, pulling that strap apart. As we're pulling the strap apart, take the elbows, pull them wide, and bring the strap down by your chin. Now for some of us, you're going to want to work here rather than behind the head. And if you're working in front of the chin, you can be pressing it forward and then pull those elbows back with your fists pointing down. Pull your elbows kind of back behind you. And so this is where you can be working if you want to be with your arms in front of your head. Let's lift the arms up. Some of us might want to take the strap behind the head. And so the elbows come down, and we're going to go up and down like this, pulling the strap apart the whole time. If our hands are behind the head now, we're going to pull out to the side and then come back and pull out to the other side. Notice if when you're doing this work with your shoulders, if your ribs are starting to push forward and knit them in. Keep the spine neutral. And then could you take the arms back and down? You're still pulling the strap apart. If that doesn't feel good, just go out to the side. If that feels all right, you might do it again. So lots of options depending on how this feels for your shoulders. Whatever we're doing, we're building some mobility in the shoulders. Let's reach the arms up wherever we are, and then we'll take the arms forward. We'll relax the pulling as the arms go down. Nice job. All right, we're going to set the strap aside for now, and we're going to come and stand at the front of our mats. So let's root the feet down to stand tall. We'll reach the arms out. We'll reach the arms up. Let's clasp our hands and just stretch over to one side and breathe in. And then come back to center. Stretch over to the other side and breathe in. And come back to center. Stretch all the way up. Big breath. And then we're going to swan dive. So knees can soften as we fold over the legs. Arms and head dangling now. Let's take a breath into the upper back. And as we exhale, hands to shins, we're going to extend the spine. Lengthen out through the crown of the head. See if you can extend between the shoulder blades. And then inhale and fold over. Let's do that again. Exhale and extend the spine forward. We'll inhale and fold. Let's bring our hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Hands press down and hips lift up and back. Big breath here. We'll exhale and lower to straight arm plank. Pushing the floor away. Nice and long and strong here. We'll take a breath here. And you might drop to your knees. We're going to try a little bend in the elbows. Elbows pointing back. We'll take a breath here. As we exhale, we'll lower down. You might drop to your knees first. Bring your chest into the floor. Let the chest sink. Get your nose just hovering right off the floor. Crown of the head extending forward. Let's inhale up to baby cobra. And exhale back down. We'll do that again. Inhale up, baby cobra. Really trying to extend the upper back. Let's lift the hands, lift the elbows and squeeze them in a bit. Wake up the upper back muscles. Then release the hands, release the chest. This time hands stay down. We'll inhale up to baby cobra or maybe come up to cobra. And exhale back down. Let's push up to knees. Curl the toes under and lift the knees. And then lift the hips up and back. We'll breathe in and out here. Let's look a little forward, walk our feet up toward our hands, plant our feet beneath us. And we'll sweep our arms out, inhale and rise up, reach up. Exhaling, arms down at our side. We'll do that again. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hands to the floor, step back to downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Exhale, straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale, little bend in the elbows. Take a breath here. Exhale and lower yourself down. Great. Let's come on to our forearms now. Elbows right beneath your shoulders. You can measure fingertip to elbow. And then push down to lift your chest. Curl your toes under. And we can either just lift our hips up and be on our knees, or we could lift the knees up. You can also go back and forth between knees down and knees up. So one option is to just hold this forearm plank. Another option to try is, could you lift one arm up and kind of sweep it around and then bring your forearm back down? Lift the other arm up, kind of sweep it around and place the forearm back down. Lift it up, sweep it around, place the forearm down, lift the other arm up, sweep it around, place it down. Couple more like this. So really working the core a little bit here to support this movement. One more time on each side. Sweeping the arm around, bringing the forearm back down, sweeping it around, bringing it back down. Let's hold here for a breath. And then we'll lower ourselves down. Let's let the elbows go wide. Let's let the head rest on the hands. Take a moment here to check in. And notice how you're feeling as you breathe in and out. All right, let's press the hips down and lift the legs up. And could you kind of flutter your legs like you're swimming? And you know, when we swim, you always want to swim with your whole leg. A lot of people just kick from the knee down, but you get more power if you kick from your whole leg, from your hip. And that's what we're doing here as well. So we're not just lifting from the knee down, we're trying to kind of lift the thighs as well. As you're fluttering, take your legs a little closer in. Just a small movement. Take them a little bit out, like in line with your hips. Take them just slightly wider than your hips. Bring them back in again. And then relax your legs down. Nice job. Let's bring our arms to our side, palms up, reaching back towards the fingertips. Let's press the hips down and lift the legs up. And then reaching back, we'll inhale and lift the chest up. So it's like a baby cobra in the upper body. We got those legs lifted, arms reaching back. Could we lift the chest a bit more, pull the heart a little more forward, and take a breath. And then exhale to lower. Nice work. Let's bring our hands next to chest, push back to knees. We'll take the hips back. We'll sit all the way back into child's pose. We'll let our head come to rest on something and take a few breaths here. Check in. Check in with how you're feeling and offer yourself encouragement and support and kindness and love rather than judgment that might be, focusing on what's wrong. Let's focus on what we're doing well, how we're feeling, supporting ourselves. We'll lift our heads up and transition to downward facing dog. Breathing in and out here. So we're going to come into a right foot forward lunge. One option is to drop to a knee and step your right foot out into a lunge. Another option is to take your right leg up in the air, bend that knee, pull it up and in, and step through to lunge. Either way is fine, but we get into our low lunge. Let's let the hips sink down a little bit as we're here. Feet are hip distance apart. Let's bring our hands to heart. And could we push into the front foot and leg to straighten ourselves up? Great. All right. So we're going to bend the front knee and then push to straighten. Bend the front knee, push to straighten. Bend the front knee, push that foot down to straighten. We're going to bend the front knee again and lean forward. We're going to take a breath here with a nice long spine. And as we exhale, let's twist to the right. Hands could stay to heart or elbow could go to the outside of the knee to deepen that twist. Twist yourself around, take a breath. And then begin to unwind yourself. Let's bring our hands to the floor, step back to downward facing dog. Breathe in and out here. And now we're going to bring that left foot forward into a lunge. You could drop to knees and step the left foot out, or lift the left leg up in the air, bend the knee, and step that foot through to lunge. Get into this low lunge. Hips can sink down a bit here. And then can we bring our hands to heart, push into the front foot and leg, and straighten ourselves up. We'll take a breath here. Let's exhale and bend the front knee forward. We'll push that foot down to straighten. We'll bend the front knee forward, push down to straighten. Couple more like that, bending and straightening. This time we'll bend that knee, keep it bent. Let's lean forward. Find length in your spine as you breathe in. Exhale and twist to the left now. Hands could stay to heart or elbow to the outside of the knee. We'll take a breath in this twist. And then we'll unwind. Let's bring our hands back down. Step back to downward facing dog. We'll breathe in and out here. Let's now lower onto knees. And we're going to stand on our knees. So bring your body upright. Let's step the right foot out in front now. Take that heel maybe a little forward of the knee. And we're going to let the weight shift forward onto that front foot. Keep a little tone in the belly so you don't just dump this all into the low back. We want to stretch into the front of this back leg rather than just dumping into the back. So the weight comes forward onto this front foot as the back hip moves forward. That same arm is the back leg. Let's reach it up. Could you put a little weight in the back knee as that same arm stretches up, and take a breath. And then bring that arm down to the floor. Take your other arm out to the side and open that arm up toward the ceiling. Take a breath here. And then bring the high arm down. Let's push the weight onto the back knee, change legs. So left foot steps out in front, heel could be a little forward of the knee. And we're gonna just let the weight sink forward. A little support in the belly. So we stretch into the front of that back thigh, front of that back hip. Not just dump into the low back. Let's take the same arm as the back leg and swing it up. As that arm is reaching up, can you put a little weight in that back knee, a little more action in that thigh? Take a breath with that arm reaching up. And then bring that hand all the way down to the floor. Take our other arm out to the side and we'll inhale that arm up toward the ceiling. We'll take a breath here. And then bring that hand down. We're going to transition, make our way back to downward facing dog, any way you want to get there. We'll breathe in and out once we make our way to down dog. And let's again walk our hands back towards our feet. Lowering the heels, fold it over. We're going to bend the knees and lower the hips. Sweep the arms forward and sit back in our low chair. So we're nice and low here in our chair. Our arms could be forward. Our arms could be up by our ears. Could you lift your hips an inch or two and then sit back down? Lift your hips an inch or two and then sit back down. 2 more times. Lift your hips a couple inches and sit back down. 1 more time. Lift them a couple inches and sit back down. Nice work. This time, push down and straighten all the way up. Breathing in. And we'll exhale our arms down at our sides. Great job. Okay. Again, we're going to work with our strap. So let's find our strap. We're going to come into a wide stance. And with your feet nice and wide apart, your strap in your hand, let's turn the left foot in and turn the right foot out. And get those feet really solidly planted. This back foot presses down, weight in the outer foot, and we'll just bend into the front knee. So sometimes I find, we got to get this bent knee position to really have a good sense of how far apart we want to put our legs. And then you can straighten the front leg. So take the strap in the same hand as the front leg and place it in your palm facing the ceiling. So there's a shorter end towards your device. There's a longer end away from the device. And then hold on to that strap and take your arm up in the air and then bend your elbow. So now that long part of the strap is dangling down. Your hand is behind your head. And then you're gonna grab the strap with the other hand. So both hands are kind of aligned with your spine. The strap is aligned with your spine. And your hands could be really close together back there, or there might be more space. I wouldn't have them as close as you can possibly get them because we're gonna want a little room for movement. So we're gonna bend the front knee. And as you're doing this, I want you to pull up and pull down. So the top hand is pulling up, the bottom hand is pulling down. So there's an active stretch for your shoulders. Now, as we straighten the leg, could you pull up a bit and actually have your upper hand pulling your bottom hand up a bit? And as we bend the knee, you're going to pull down with your bottom arm, and that's going to pull your top arm down a bit. So we're going to pull up and pull the bottom hand up, pull down and pull the top hand down. And we'll just do this as we bend and straighten the leg. Pull up and then pull down. So if this seems like it's too much for your shoulders, just put more distance between your top hand and your bottom hand. Or if you want a little deeper stretch, your hands could walk a little closer to each other. So do what works for your shoulders. Pull up and pull down. And pull up and pull down. One more time. Pull up and pull down. And then stay here with bent knee and pull up and down at the same time. Again, notice if your ribs are pushing forward. Kind of neutralize your spine. Knit those ribs in. Pulling up, pulling down, take a breath. And then straighten the front leg. Release your bottom arm and release your top arm. Great. Let's do that all on the other side. So we'll turn our feet forward. We'll turn the right foot in. We'll turn the left foot out. You can take a little knee bend just to find your good alignment. And then straighten that front leg. So again, we're going to put the strap in this front leg arm, hand. A shorter part of the strap facing your device, a longer part away from your device. That arm goes up. And then as you bend the elbow, that long part drops down behind. Reach back and grab that lower part of your strap. Sorry about that. All right, so you've got that strap aligned with your spine. Your hand is behind your head. Try not to let your head go forward. Keep your neck aligned with the rest of your spine. And sometimes when we take our arms up, we arch the back. So see if you can neutralize that. So as we're going to have a bent knee and we're going to pull up and pull down at the same time, right? One arm is pulling up, one arm is pulling down. There's tension in the strap. Let's straighten the leg. All right, so we're going to bend the knee and pull down. And that's going to pull the top hand down a little bit. We're going to straighten the leg and pull up. We're going to bend the knee and pull down. Straighten the leg and pull up. Are you letting your ribs push forward? Knit those ribs into your belly. Pull down, pull up, pull down. You're doing great. Pull up. One more time. Pull down, pull up. As you bend the knee this time, pull up and down. Pulling with equal resistance in both directions. Straighten yourself up, knit your ribs, take a breath. And then straighten the leg, release the pulling, release your bottom arm, release your top arm. Nice work. Turn your feet forward so you're in a parallel straddle. And we're going to take the strap behind now. With your palms facing the wall behind you, grip your strap. Your fists are facing back. And your hands could be about as wide as your hips. They could be closer together. They could be wider apart, what feels comfortable. But with your hands behind, I want you to pull the strap apart. Again, I believe in active stretches. We're going to stretch the muscles of the shoulders while they're working. It's a safer way, I believe, to build mobility. So pulling the arms apart, take a breath as you stand tall. As we exhale, we're going to hinge forward, and those knees can soften here as we come to flat back. You're pulling the strap apart and reaching it to the wall behind you. And then we're going to fold over. You might widen your grip. We're going to try and take the arms up toward the ceiling. As your head drops down, your arms reach up, and continue to pull the strap apart. Pull the strap apart as your arms reach up, as your head drops down. Knees can be soft here. Or if you want a deeper stretch, you could try lifting your sitting bones up. Take a breath here. And then reach your arms back towards the wall behind you. Push into your feet and legs, come to flat back. Take a breath in and out here. You're pulling that strap apart. And then bring yourself all the way up. Good job. All right, let's walk our feet together, and we're going to work on balance here. So you may or may not need your strap. So just maybe put your strap in one hand. We're going to balance on one leg, and we're going to see if we can reach back, grab the top of the other foot, dropping the knee down. Now, if that's not available, you could take the strap and just kind of loop it around the front of the ankle and lift that leg up using the strap, right? You also might want to have a chair nearby to hold on to. So maybe you're lifting it up with the strap. Maybe you're grabbing the foot and lifting it up. Either way, could you get the knee to drop down next to the other knee? And as your arm is behind, notice if you're arching your back. Can you knit your ribs down? Neutralize your spine a little bit. If that knee is out to the side, can you drop it down more? If that knee is forward, can you drop it more straight down? And if you're holding your foot, or if you're even holding the strap is holding your foot, can you push the foot into your hand or the strap? So it's a more of an active stretch into that thigh, into that quad muscle here. The other arm could be doing anything. It could be forward. Sometimes we lean forward a bit as the knee goes back. The opposite arm lifts up. We continue to push the foot into the hand, a little tone in the belly if the leg's going back. We'll take a breath here. Ooh. And then we'll stand up. Maybe you stayed a little longer than me. All right, so, balance is a good opportunity to practice being kind to ourselves. Because, it's a practice. We're not always good at our balance, and it's easy to get down on ourselves. So let's be kind. If we can't hold the balance as long, that's okay. We're just practicing. So other leg, again, you might grab the foot. You might find it's better for you to kind of loop the strap around to lift the leg up and behind. Either way, could we get the knee to drop down, right? The knee wants to be out to the side, and we're going to try and get that knee more down. The knee might want to be a little forward. Can we get the knee to drop more down? And as we're doing that, then we push the foot into the hand or the strap. Yeah. And of course, we're working on our balance here too, but we're getting a nice stretch into that quad. You could just hold like this. You might want to try leaning forward a bit, reaching the other arm out as the knee goes back. Push the foot into the hand or the strap. Take a breath. And then come back and release that foot down. All right, nice work. Let's make our way all the way down to the floor now. And as we come down onto the floor with our legs in front of us, let's take our strap. We're just going to loop it around the balls of our feet. If you can do that. There you go. Okay. So you've got something to hold on to here. So some of us, when we're sitting up, we tend to lean back. And it might be useful to sit up on a blanket so that you can be sitting upright. Having the strap to hold on to can be nice because it's something to help us come into a more upright position. As the strap is looped around the balls of the feet, and that's really what we want, not around the arch of the foot, could you push into the strap like you're pushing into the gas pedal so that there's a little more action in your legs? And then again, see if you can pull yourself upright. Now, some of us might be able to hinge forward in this position. And that is going to mean you're going to have some mobility in your hamstrings that some of us have and some of us don't have, and it's not a big deal. So what we're just doing is exploring our ability to hinge forward. Our ability to do this can be affected by tight hamstrings, by our hips, by our low back. So if we can only hinge forward to 90 degrees, that's fine. That's where we're going to work. Whatever we're doing, we're going to press our heels down. We're going to push our foot into the strap. And we're going to just see what ability we have to hinge forward. So we're not bending at the waist. We're not pulling the head forward. The spine is one unit. And it's just exploring its ability to hinge. We'll take a breath here. And then we're going to straighten back up. Okay, we're going to leave, like, let's say the right foot in the strap and put the left foot against the thigh. We're going to do the same thing. So this knee is turned out, but we're going to orient towards the straight leg. We're going to push the heel down, push the foot into the strap, and we might just be working to come straight up. We might see if we could hinge forward here. And, I've had people that could put their chest on their thigh without bending at the waist, without pulling the head forward. And then there's those of us who struggle to even be at 90 degrees. It's all fine. It really has a lot to do with the structure of our hips. And again, those hamstrings. So let's just explore and just take this as like learning information. How does this feel in our bodies? We'll take a breath. And then come back up. All right, let's change legs. So now the right leg is straight. We'll place the left foot against the thigh. We have the strap around the ball of the foot. And heel is pressing down, foot is pressing into the strap. Maybe we're sitting up straight. Maybe we're hinging forward. It's kind of interesting to see how our body can hinge forward with our legs in different orientations. So it might be different, your ability to hinge when you had two legs out in front of you. It might be different right side, left side with the knee bend. So kind of notice and take a breath. And then come back up. Let's take the strap off. Let's bring both feet together. Again, we could be holding the feet, we could be holding the ankles. We might find it's better for us to put our arms behind. And as you're here, you might put a little weight of the feet pressing in, the knees pressing out. Could you sit up? Could you hinge forward? For me, I have very little mobility in this orientation to hinge forward. And that's just how my body is. But we're just seeing what our bodies can do, and we're going to breathe in and out. And then come off of that one. Last one like this, we're going to straighten our legs and then take them wide apart. Again, we're going to put a little weight in the heels, so there's action in the legs. And so again, some of us might just be working to sit up straight. We might want our hands behind. Some of us might be able to hinge forward, so we might bring the hands in front. What is our ability to hinge forward with our legs in this direction? You know, it's just interesting. When I'm in bound angle, I can barely hinge forward. When my legs are wide, I can hinge forward pretty far. So it's really just a structure of how we're put together here, as much as, you know, our mobility. So pressing the heels down, hinging forward. Let's take a breath in and out. And then we'll come back up. Nice work. Let's bring our legs together. We're going to make our way onto our backs and have your strap nearby. Roll all the way down onto our backs. Let's do another bridge pose. We did bridge pose at the beginning of class, and it was just up and down. It wasn't very much articulation. This time we're going to focus more on articulation. So with your feet hip distance apart, with your heels under your knees, with your arms at your side, feel how your sacrum is on the floor. Take a breath in. As you exhale, just start to lift your tailbone, kind of curl your tailbone up, kind of curl your sacrum up, and just lift those lower lumbar vertebrae one at a time, just to the point where you feel your low ribs still on the floor. So you just lifted the lumbar vertebrae up, and then just release those lumbar vertebrae. There's 5 of them. Just lower down incrementally until you release onto your sacrum at the base of your spine, and then the tailbone kind of rolls out. Let's try that again. We're just going to lift the tail, lift the sacrum, curl up those lumbar vertebrae until what you feel on the floor is your lower ribs. Take a breath and then release those lower vertebrae slowly, gradually, one at a time if you can. And then let your sacrum find the floor, let your tail roll out. Imagine you had a tail. It's just relaxing, releasing into the floor. Then again, this time we're going to lift the tail, lift the sacrum. We're going to roll up until we get to the base of the ribs. And then let's continue lifting the lower ribs incrementally, the middle ribs, coming up more towards the upper ribs where they attach to the spine, bringing the weight up onto the shoulders. Can we press the feet down, press the knees and shins forward as we take the hips up and take a breath? And then release again, very slowly, gradually, incrementally. Just kind of giving your spine a little massage here as each vertebra contacts the floor as individually as you can. Everyone comes down at a different pace, so when you make your way all the way down, just let your tail roll out and let everything relax. Great. Okay, let's find our strap now. And we'll just start with our left foot for a change. Loop the strap around the ball of the left foot and take that left leg up in the air. Take your right leg extended out straight on the floor. Bounce that right leg on the floor a few times, and then let that leg feel real nice and heavy. All right, so the leg that's up in the air, I want you to let it fall forward. You're going to hold the strap. The strap is going to hold the foot up, hold the leg up. Let the leg drop all the way forward to the point where it's a straight leg. The leg is relaxed and your arms are holding your leg up with the strap. So now we're going to take that straight leg and we're going to use our arms to start to slowly, gradually bring that leg more toward the ceiling. Go nice and slow. When the leg is really far away, it can be straight. As it starts to come up toward the ceiling, depending on how tight our hamstrings are, The only way we can keep going at a certain point is the knee starts to bend, or the other option is the other leg starts to lift up. So I want you to come back to the point where your leg can be straight. And if you went any further, your knee would bend or your bottom leg would lift up. So go right to that edge. And then if your knee bends or your bottom leg lifts up, just back off just a little bit. So you're at whatever point you can be where your leg is still straight. And then push your foot up into the strap and then pull down with the strap to flex your foot. Push up into the strap, a little resistance pulling down, and then pull down to flex your foot. One more time, push up into the strap to point, pull down. It's a little bit challenging to pull down because you're resisting. Great. Put the two parts of the strap in the left hand. Now that right leg on the floor, I want it to stay just like it is, your hips level to the ceiling as that left leg opens out to the side. So we're not going to let that right leg roll or lift. We're just going to see how far that leg can go out to the side, keeping the hips just as they are. And then push your foot into the strap. Once you've reached that open straddle point, as far as you can go, and then bring the leg back up. And once the leg is up, pull down to flex the foot. Good. Okay, now bend that knee a bit. Slide your other leg up and place the ball of the right foot into the strap. Release the left foot down and slide it out straight. Bounce that left leg a few times. And then let that left leg be really loose and heavy on the floor. Now the leg that's up in the air, let it fall away from you till it's nice and straight and it's totally relaxed. Your arms are holding it up. Your leg isn't doing any work to hold it there. Then with your arms, start to bring your leg up toward the ceiling. And really notice at a certain point, you can't really go any further without that knee bending or that bottom leg starting to lift up. So find that edge right to the point where if you went any further, your knee starts to bend, and then just back off just a little bit. And then push your foot up into the strap, pointing your toes, and then pull down to flex your foot. And do that with a little resistance. It's a challenge to push your foot up, and it's work to pull it into a flex position. You got to push against resistance to point your foot. You got to pull against resistance to flex. Nice job. Put the two parts of the strap in your right hand now. Your left arm opens to your side. Keep that left leg right as it is. Don't let your hip roll or lift. Open the right leg out to the side. See how far you can go before that left leg starts to lift or roll. And then push your foot into the strap. And then bring that leg back up. Once it's up, pull down to flex it. Good. Okay, we're going to bend that knee. We're going to take the strap off. Let's just do a little four square. Put the ankle above the bottom knee, reach through and pull in. And take a breath or two here, just stretching into that outer hip. And then release that foot down and do that on the other side. Placing the ankle above the other knee and pulling in. And taking a breath. Nice. Okay. If you want to do one more movement now, you're welcome to do so. We're going to begin to make our transition to our final relaxation. So you might want to put on a layer now, put on a blanket, grab a pillow to put under your head or under your knees. What would be helpful for you to be as comfortable as possible? Set yourself up for that. And we'll come into our final pose of relaxation. And if we set ourselves up so we're warm and comfortable, the body should kind of just naturally begin to relax. Allow that to happen. The areas of the body that you know kind of tend to habitually clench. Maybe it's in your gut. Maybe it's in your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. Just invite those areas to soften and release as well. Allow this process of relaxation to kind of naturally unfold. Moment by moment, you may be dropping a little deeper and deeper into relaxation. Giving our bodies this time to drop into this state of ease is an act of kindness to ourselves. Giving ourselves this time for our yoga practice is also an act of kindness for ourselves. And offering ourselves kindness is really important, especially these days. We don't have each other the way we used to. We have to rely on ourselves more in this time of COVID. And being kind to ourselves is essential. So let this be an offering of kindness and love to ourselves. Giving ourselves this time and space for the body to relax, for the muscles in the face to soften and relax, and for the mind to have a little rest, a little open spaciousness to just be. We take this time and we offer this kindness to ourselves. And in giving ourselves this practice, where we build strength and mobility and resilience, and we learn to treat ourselves with kindness, we're going to be so much better equipped to be the person that can offer kindness and support and care to others. And isn't that the world that we want to live in, where we care for each other? Maybe you want to care for yourself by staying a little longer on your back, and you're welcome and free to do so. If you're ready to start to transition now, you might open your eyes and bring your feet to the floor. And I always think it's nice to roll to the side and take a little time to transition on your side, kind of in that fetal position for a moment or two, before then making your way up to sitting. And it's also really nice to close out our practice with a few moments of quiet reflection, gratitude, or maybe the spirit of prayer. Connecting with love. Let's try to spread a little love today as we move forward. So my love to all of you. Thank you for being here. Peace.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Yeah. Carrie, I wanted to say that for the group that, and hi, Jerry and Sharon. Sharon told me about if you have silver sneakers, you can go